Well, hi all. Summer is almost here, and Fred and I know we're going to be getting out and getting our cameras, keep them busy this summer. As I say, we want to keep chasing those elusive images. I'm going to be going to Ecuador shortly, and Fred always says,
anytime you can get some shutter time, it's always a great time. And yes, I can talk again.
yes, and Fred's back.
It's great.
So what we thought we would do is give you some of our favorite tips in order to improve your photography and hopefully get some better pictures this summer.
So let's go do that.
Let's do it.
Well, want to talk about light, and let's face it, you're always worried about that. If you don't have natural light and you try to use that little pop-up flash, come on folks, you know that thing's not going to go very far. These little gadgets, like this one from Rogue, fit right on top of the camera, magnify it just enough to fill it in and help you get the extra light. And speaking of light, there's something that you can use. These guys, which are not real great for photography. Jim and I always say, you know, sometimes some of these things are so flimsy outside and whipping around and rocking back and forth that you might as well have no tripod. But if you have a few of these and you go, what do I do with them now? Don't throw them out. They make great light stands and accessory stands. If you have a flash that you're setting off remotely, just put it right on top. Excellent stuff. Inexpensive, light stand, a little bit better photography.
Hey, one of the best tips I can think of for better photography is right here, your manual. It's very important you understand your camera. Know where your controls are. You want to be able to get those as quickly and rapidly as possible. You want to understand the menu options, what the capabilities of your camera are. There may be things that your camera can do that you're not even aware of. So yeah, I know it's boring, it's technical, and it's dry. It probably puts you to sleep, but it is really important to spend time looking over the manual and understanding how your camera works.
Hi, well, another thing that's handy dandy out there, if you don't have a clamp, these things have gotten very inexpensive. They're a great set of hands. You can, you don't have 3 or 4 hands growing out of your body, at least I don't. So if I'm doing certain types of photography, basically, when I do macro, plant photography, things like that, these are great because they can hold whatever it is that's a subject outside with the wind and whatnot. Great stuff. Another thing that you can use, I'm going to reach in my grab bag of glory here. Another thing I use for photography, I really think it's a great thing, these little, very, very small reflectors, because they'll actually add some light to the subject. Or if you want to even give them a warm glow to the subject. So good stuff, because this can fit in your shirt pocket. So if you needed a little extra light and you didn't bring a flash, good stuff.
Another tip, that the best camera you've got is the one you have with you, and most of us carry smartphone cameras or smartphones with us, which have really wonderful cameras built right into them. And I have repeatedly urged people to use your cell camera. You don't have to worry about your ISO and all the mechanics in there. You can concentrate on the framing, composition, which are extremely important for getting better pictures. So consider this as a photographer's sketch pad.
I'm going to reach another thing. This really isn't camera gear, but how often do you get out there, it's raining cats and dogs, you've covered up everything else, but you're getting soaked and you got a mile walk back to the car. These things are worth every penny. Little disposable parkers. You basically, these little rain suits, basically they call them rain ponchos. You can put these on. There's 2 to a package. You don't care if it gets torn up. They're inexpensive. Don't take up any room at all really in your camera bag, gadget bag. Great stuff.
Shooting summer often means shooting with the weather. You don't want to go inside just because it might be a little raining outside, so make sure that you carry some kind of rain cover for your cameras. There I got the storm jacket. These are available from our friends at outdoor photogear.com, and also something a little bit more elaborate that will protect your camera and allow you to keep shooting. Camera goes inside there, your hands go on, and you can go shooting even when the weather is foul.
and for the camera, in case you don't pack anything to cover the camera, don't have a camera hood, the instant rain protector, a garbage bag. You just get a tall kitchen bag or a big garbage can bag, put that over the camera if you get caught in a downpour. And in Florida, we get that a lot, and I'm sure in your neck of the woods, you get those from time to time. You want to stay out as long as you can. It's going to be one of those showers that's going to blow right through a squall line or something. You cover the camera, hunker down, everything stays dry, and you move on. You keep taking your photography.
I got a device here that we have reviewed in the past on the Fotobug. This is from our friends at Alpine Labs. I think this comes in really handy if you are a Nikon or a Canon shooter. Unfortunately, right now, it only works with those devices. But this is the Pulse, Alpine Pulse. And it will fit on your hot junior camera. You need the cable for your particular camera. It plugs into the control port on the camera and will allow you to use your cell phone through a Bluetooth connection to control your camera. You can check the pictures, thumbnails after they've been taken. You can set up to HDR with it, and you can do time lapse. There's a number of different things, as well as just triggering the camera remotely, and it actually works quite at a distance. Alpine Labs right now has a project, I believe it's on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, that will allow you to use any camera. Now, it doesn't have the capabilities of the Pulse here. The new unit is called a Spark, and it allows you to trigger your camera. Now, you can't control the camera, you can't change any of your settings, you can't see the thumbnails, but you can use it as a trigger device, so you're not actually touching the camera, and you can use it to either with the device itself to trigger. You can use it with a cell phone. I believe it has 3 different ways you can trigger your camera. So well worth looking into, especially if you're not shooting Canon or Nikon.
Another accessory that helps me, because fatigue is everything, a type of strap. Now, Black Rapid makes these, and there's at least 2 or 3 other manufacturers. These things are great because you can put them on, the camera goes onto it. You can carry this over your shoulder. The camera's down here, not having to grip it the whole time, so your hands aren't getting fatigued. I think that these are a great accessory.
Something I have found that's very important, especially when you're outside in daylight, and I often take some of these extras to share with the people in my workshops, is from our friends at Hoodman. And this will go back on the LCD of your camera, allowing you to see when you're chimping, to see your pictures, to see your histogram better, because sometimes in bright daylight it's very, very difficult to see that. This makes it much easier. Also, if you're shooting video, they have attachments for these that can permanently, well, anyway, semi-permanently, but hold it onto your camera so you can use it and shoot video. It's also good for live view and for focusing if you're going to be doing long daytime exposures or things like that. So definitely check out the Hoodman.
And then something else that we talked about on the show, no longer made, the trigger trap. Guess what? You can still buy these little beauties. The app that controls them is still free, and you can go online. I just checked today, actually, and you can still buy these very inexpensively. You can buy them for Canon, you can buy them from Nikon. They still have them out there in people's stock rooms, in their warehouses, and they're trying to sell them out. This is a great thing for setting off the camera, for doing time exposures, for doing, what else would we do with these? HDR, for doing things like that. I'm sorry, I had a moment there when my brain just went lock up, but great stuff. Another thing that's a great gadget to have in your camera bag, clips, inexpensive clips. How many times have I had a situation where I was trying to do a shoot and I realized I had to kind of hold something up or prop something up, or I had a background that I had to try to put behind whatever it was I was shooting? These are inexpensive and they're great, very valuable. So I always carry a few of them. They fit. Sometimes I just put them in different areas of my bag so I can get to them. So it's wonderful stuff.
One of the issues we have with DSLRs as we take our lenses on and off is you're going to get dust specks on the sensors. Those are little dust magnets that really attract dust. So my recommendation is make sure you get a nice blower and even a sensor brush in order to remove the dust from your pictures. If you're a little nervous about doing that yourself, then at least periodically take it into a professional or ask one of your workshop leaders to clean your sensors. But it really isn't that difficult. And if you want more information on how to do this, at least write to us. We'll be more than happy to instruct you on how to clean a sensor.
I had the smaller one. This one's a little bit bigger, but if you've got room in your bag for something like this, this guy folds out to be quite big. You could be doing a video shoot, and you notice this one actually has different covers. So you can take this off, and they make them in, of course, the gold and the white, so you can get the silver ones. It basically is just a big frame. When I take this off, I have one that becomes translucent. So I actually have a third one inside there. So I have two reflectors, and then I have one that actually I can use to cut down my light and give me a softer light. Now, a lot of times this is going to require having your friend with you, and they're going to hold it, but these things are great for the fact that they'll fold down so small.
If you're shooting pictures of people and using a flash, which we recommend in order to fill in, one of the things that I really recommend is, first off, get that flash off the camera and use some kind of device like our friends from Rogue has here. These are very, very flexible. This can form into a snoot. These are relatively inexpensive. They work on all flash units and will allow you to control the light better. Here's a bigger one that also serves as like a big soft box, as well as you can use it as a reflector. Extremely flexible, extremely handy, and you're going to get much, much better portraits.
And of course, I'm always talking about light. I love doing macro, I love doing close-ups, I love doing things with plant photography, and sometimes I don't want to carry a flash, I don't want to carry a speed light, because I've got to do a lot of settings and it's just more room in the bag. So if I don't have, and included with my reflectors, if I have room, I'll put a panel light in there. These things are very inexpensive. As you can see, they run off of a battery that basically would go on to a video camera. So that means it holds a lot of power. You charge these things up and they run, seems like forever. And you can put a lot of time into these. Usually for the shot, and you can hand hold, especially if you're using a tripod to get your close-up macro. You can hold this and add the light that nature isn't giving you that day. Even on an overcast day, this would be handy. So I think that panel lights, those small ones, are great. One final really cool gadget. This is by a company called Hoodman. And this actually is an adapter. So if you're low and close to the ground, you actually can have this where you can look down into the camera. Because you can't bring the viewfinder up close enough to your eye, you actually can have this on the camera. Literally, if you're laying flat on the ground trying to get that perfect eye level shot of that wildlife, you've got this so you can still see down, see what you're doing, look up and see if your target is there, and then go ahead and do what you're going to do. These things are not that expensive. They come with several different adapters, so they'll adapt to the eyepiece of just about every camera out there. And this is one of the little handy gadgets that companies like Hoodman put together. And it even has a little clip on the pouch, so you can clip it on your belt or put it in your bag.
Well, there you have it. Hopefully you picked up some good tips and some interesting gadgets that'll make your photography better. And this summer you're going to get out there and get some great images. Maybe they won't be so elusive.
Right. Folks, when you get that shutter time, every time you click the shutter, you get more experience. Every image that you capture is one step closer to the perfect one that you want to get every time. And you'll be surprised. It's kind of like for those who play golf. Oh, I hate this game, hate that game. Whoosh, great shot, love this game. Same thing happens in photography.
You can say the same thing, great shot. Oh, I love photography.
Yeah. When you get that one that's memorable to you and gives you that emotional rush, then you know you've gotten the right thing.
Also, if you have some tips that you would like for us to share with you, whether it's a do-it-yourself device that you
fantastic,
or a special tip, way that you do things,
even something that you've purchased that you found is something you cannot do without in your gadget bag
Yes.
now. Please tell us about it, because these are just the things that we want everybody to know out there.
We're not going to keep it a secret. We're going to share it with
Nope.
everybody. So please let us know. Well, we hope you enjoyed our video, and if you did, please go down there and hit the like button, and please subscribe to us.
That's right. Leave a comment too. That would be great.
Yeah, and if you want to be notified about future videos, hit the little bell too.
Ding.